IS Academy. We are decoding prelims through previous year's questions. My name is Pratik Bhandari and we are starting with history subject. Today we will understand different questions asked from Indus Valley civilization. They are generally divided into limited themes. So these themes become important. One of these themes is the Indus Valley civilization sites. Now, till date, 3 questions have been asked from this area. One in 2002, one in 2029, one from 1991. All these questions are related to Indus Valley civilization site or Harappan site as they are also known. So, knowing about this site, Harappan site is important. Now, let's see one by one all of these questions. Before that, we will see at the map of Indus Valley civilization. The easternmost Indus Valley site is Alamgirpur. The westernmost is Sutkajendor. To the north is Manda in Jammu and Kashmir, and to the south is Malwan in Surat district of Gujarat. Now, the question here asks which one of the following is not an Harappan site. As we all know, Chanudaru is an Harappan site. So, this is not correct. Then Kot Diji is also a known Harappan site. Now, between these two, let's see. Is Desalpur an Harappan site? So, yes, it is located here. So, Desalpur is an Harappan site. Hence, the correct answer here is Shogaura. Now, this place is not from Harappan civilization, but it is from Mauryan period. A copper plate inscription has been found here. Now, let's go to other two questions. Here it is match the following type of question where ancient sites are given and we have to find archaeological findings or we have to match archaeological findings found at these sites. Similar is the case in this question, right? Here, as we all know, Lothal is a dockyard. This is correct. Lothal is a dockyard. At Kalibangan, plowed field, evidence of plowed field has been found out. An inscription comprising of 10 large size signs of Harappan script is found at Dholavira, whereas terracotta replica of plow is found at Banavli. Now, let's see important Harappan civilization sites in detail so we can answer these kind of questions in examination. The first important site of Harappan civilization is Harappa. It was the first site to be discovered. It was the first site to be discovered and the civilization is known after its name as Harappan civilization. It was discovered in 1921 by Dayaram Sahani. It has elaborate drainage system. The town is divided into two parts. The upper town and lower town. It houses big buildings like the granary and citadel. Important findings from Harappa are scale made of copper, ivory, and shells. Here we also find evidences of coffin burial. At Harappa, we find a red sandstone male torso. It has it is polished and it has sockets for and holes for limbs. It also has place for head attachment. Cemetery 37, that is the area of or burial ground, is related to Harappa. The second most important site is that of Mohenjo-daro, which means the mound of dead. It was discovered in 1922 by R.D. Banerjee. It houses big structures like the Great Bath, Assembly Hall, Granary. Important findings at Mohenjo-daro include a statite sculpture of a bearded man known as Priest King. Another important finding at Mohenjo-daro is that of a bronze figure known as Dancing Girl. Seals made an important part of Indus Valley civilization trade. Pashupati seal is an important finding from Mohenjo-daro. It has a personality having three heads in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals. Evidence of cotton cloth is also found at Mohenjo-daro. It is attached to a silver vase. The next important Harappan site is that of Chanhu-daro. It is present in Sindh of Pakistan region. It was discovered by N.G. Majumdar in 1931. The most important thing about Chanudaro was that it was a manufacturing center. Carnelian beads were important manufactured product. Another distinctive factor about Chanudaro was there is no separate citadel mount. So there is no separate citadel. This point is important. Evidence of lipstick is also found from Chanudaro. So it was discovered by N.G. Majumdar. It is manufacturing sector. It has no separate citadel, and evidence of lipstick have been found from Chanudaro. Now let's see the next Harappan site. The next site is that of Lothal. Lothal is in Gujarat. This site was discovered by S.R. Rao in 1954. It is located between river Bhogavo and Sabarmati at head of Gulf of Cambay. It was a port town. Moreover, it was a dockyard. Evidences of dockyard made of burned bricks has been discovered. Another important thing about Lothal is we found remains of rice husk at Lothal, which is a distinguishing factor from other Harappan sites. At Lothal also, like Chanudaro, we find bead making warehouses. These beads were made of semi-precious stones, gold, terracotta, and it were traded with other civilization like the Mesopotamian civilization and the Egyptian civilizations. Another important findings at Lothal include fire altars. Though debatable, but they are an important findings here. Mesopotamian seals are found in Lothal. Suggesting of its participation in trade with other civilizations. Another important evidence from Lothal is of double burial. Double burial. These are important things about Lothal that we need to remember. Next important site is that of Kalibangan. The site of Kalibangan is in Rajasthan. It was discovered in 1953 by Mr. Ghosh. The name Kalibangan comes from Kali, which means black, and Bangan, which means bangles, as black colored bangles were found in this region, hence this name. Kalibangan saw two phases. The early Harappan phase as well as the mature Harappan phase. The important findings at Kalibangan include fire altars in row, evidence of animal sacrifice were also found at Kalibangan. The evidence of plowed field is the most important finding from Kalibangan. Moreover, the discovery of trepanned skull from Kalibangan suggests advanced medical knowledge. Trepanned skull means hole was bored in skull for surgery. Mud brick fortification, not burned but mud brick fortification, is another important thing from Kalibangan. So Kali means black, Bangan means bangle. We get two phases, early Harappan phase, mature Harappan phase. Fire altars in row are found here. Evidences of animal sacrifice have been witnessed. Most important is the evidence of plowed field have been found at Kalibangan. Then trepanned skull. Next is mud brick platform. The next important Harappan site is that of Banavali. Banavali in the state of Haryana was discovered in 1974 by R.S. Bisht. It is located in Hisar district of Haryana. It too saw two phases, that is early Harappan phase as well as mature Harappan phase. The important findings at Banavali are the terracotta replica of plough. Another important evidence we get here is the remains of street and drains. The next important site is that of Dholavira. This site in the state of Gujarat was discovered by J.P. Joshi in 1967-68. The most significant thing about this site is that it has all the three phases of Harappan culture. that is the pre or early Harappan phase, mature Harappan phase, and late Harappan phase. It was a fortified settlement. The most important finding at Dholavira is that of 16 reservoirs, which demonstrates sophisticated water system and water management. Here, another important thing was the town or the Indus site of Dholavira was divided into three parts, unlike other sites which were normally divided into two. Here we find three parts, that is Citadel, Middle Town, and Lower Town. Moreover, each of it was surrounded by stone wall. Another important and distinguishing finding from this place is of a large inscription signboard. In Harappan script, it has 10 pictographic symbols which are of white stone inlaid in wood. Here we find use of stone more than that of burnt bricks. Now let's revise it once. Dholavira in Gujarat, founded by this site was brought into light by Mr. Joshi. Here we find all the three phases of Harappan civilization, that is early, middle phase, and late Harappan period. Right? It is a fortified settlement. Here we find elaborate water management system. Then the town, unlike other, is divided into three, that is Citadel, Middle Town, and Lower Town, each surrounded by a stone wall. Then another important finding is that of a signboard which has 10 pictographic symbols in Harappan script. It is white stone inlaid in wood. Stone is used commonly than burnt bricks. Now let's see the other side. Next site is that of Rakhigadi. It is in Haryana. It was discovered by Mr. Suraj Bhan in 1963. It is on river Ghaggar, a seasonal river. It too has all the three phases of Harappan culture, that is the early Harappan phase, the mature Harappan phase, and the late Harappan phase. This site is one of the largest Harappan site. The next important site is that of Surko Tada. In the state of Gujarat, this site was found by J.P. Joshi in 1964. It is a coastal city It had citadel. The most important fact about this is here we find doubtful remains of horse-like animal. Not horse, but horse-like animal, right? As we know, Indus Valley civilization was not aware of horse. So it is horse-like animal, and it is not conclusive because neither period early to this nor after this show evidences of horse. The next important site is that of Sutka Jendor in the Baluchistan region of Pakistan. This site is the westernmost boundary of Harappan civilization. It had a citadel and defensive wall. Aladino was also an important Harappan site. Here we found evidences of hoards of gold and silver ornaments. The other important Harappan site was Mehergarh in Baluchistan region of Pakistan. It was discovered in 1974 by Jean-Francois Garriott. It is a pre-Harappan site. Here we find evidences of early farming community. It was precursor of Harappa's or Harappan civilization's urban phase. The most important finding from this site is of a teeth which show evidence of drilling. The other important site is that of Ropar in Punjab. Here we find dog buried with human being. Now let's revise important points once again. Evidence of dockyard was found at Lothal. Reservoir or elaborate water management system is found at Dholavira. Evidence of plowed field were found at Kalibangan. Great bath is present in Mohenjo-daro. Cemetery 37, burial ground, is related or present in Harappa. A city with no citadel is Chanhu-Daro. early farming community was present in Mehergarh. Evidence of horse-like animal, though debatable, was found from Surkotada. Right? So these are important points. Whereas, let's see the boundary of Indus Valley civilization. To the most east is Alamgirpur in UP. To the west is Sutkajendor in the Makran coast. To the north is Manda in Jammu and Kashmir, and to the south is Malwan in Surat district of Gujarat. So these were the important things that we need to know about Harappan sites. Thank you.